deeper,
Yes.
including the fact that monies meant to prosecute war against Boko Haram were cornered mindlessly. And I told you people on this stage that I lost a cousin. So my cousin's blood is in the head of those people who cornered money meant for armory. And you send them there, they complain, you turn around, you prosecute them, you convict them to death, and you'll be smiling. Nature, they say, has a morbid sense of humor. The chicken is coming back to roost. And we're seeing it. You know, you were asking about your hunger theory. How can a hungry man? All of these revelations will calibrate the fight, will energize the people beyond that hunger. Because even now, beyond hunger, you have integrity, you have discipline, you have character, you have values, even as a hungry man. It is for that reason that in our traditional settings, in villages where some of us grew up, you have people who are hungry, yet will not tell a lie, yet will not misappropriate public funds. How did we lose all of those? That should be the proposal.
Do you think we're now getting to the stage where we will forget about our poverty and our hunger and stand up for
I am telling you categorically, and this is what excites me in what I do beyond practicing law, that in CDHR, for instance, I have very serious percentage of elderly members, many of whom trek. They could be coming from Agege, they would trek to the next bus stop before they take bus. The next week, it is not because there was no refund. She will also come. And so I had some delegations from Anambra State, our branch from Anambra, and we're going to have a public human rights training by Femi Falana, who was our past president. And I compelled them to stay, even if one of them was a pastor in the church. And said, please come witness what makes the struggle a little thick in this part of the country, just so that when you leave, you will realize that it's not just all about that money. After all, comrade, how were we prosecuting the fight as students? Did we have money?
No.
But many people didn't know the university that I graduated from, except that it had to be reported in the case laws. Because we were everywhere. I rest my case.
Okay, now we have to wind down now. So let's take the closing statement, starting with everybody here is a comrade. Comrade.
Yes.
Well, first, all of this boils down to the classical reality that we are confronted with at the moment. There is a lot of hope that has been raised by the present government. We are talking about governance here. There is a presumption that once General Buhari comes to power, everything will fall into place. Initially, in the first 2 weeks or so, he became president. There was electricity and people talked about body language and people were falling into places. Now we have all seen that all of this is becoming a sham. It's also staring us in the face that Nigerians, as Comrade Malaki said just now, we then need to find an alternative. And the alternative actually rests with the civil society and people who are still sitting on the fence, undecided. People who are still clapping and believing that there is a miracle in the offing. I am putting it to Nigerians today that except they wake up from not just slumber now, people are dead but alive. Except they wake up to know that their own survival and redemption does not lie in the hands of old and recycled politicians who have been part of the... Edrich Cleaver says you're either part of the solution or part of the problem. I have seen that all of this conglomerate of political leaders have been part of the problems in the past and would think that they can save us. No, they don't have the answers.
It will be just a brief summary of what I've been saying. One, we need to look at how to ensure that the institutions of democracy, we make it less expensive. We don't have to create barriers or financial barriers, for genuine people or people who are social conscious, to occupy political offices. Two, we need to look at the aspect of shared learning. How do we ensure that, our political class, particularly the legislators, traveling abroad, claiming they are visiting one parliament in other climes or the other, actually are not going for monitoring purposes, but in terms of actually learning from the experience of other people and then, allowing that.
They should take an exam when they come back.
Yeah. Then lastly, how do we ensure community or citizens' participation? We need to begin to look at the role of the civil society organizations. The civil society organizations have the historic responsibility, given the problem we are faced with, to provide the leadership, sensitize the people, mobilize the populace in a way that we can cause a meaningful change in our society that will assure of good governance.
Comrade Malaki.
There is no doubt that there is an air of despondency. People are depressed. People they appear to have been disappointments, misgivings here and there. But I like to remind Nigerians that we were not wrong in the judgment that we had with the last election. What we therefore need is to reactivate our sense of responsibility regarding our participation in governance and ensure that we maximize the space that we have created. No doubt a lot went bad, such that if we had not done anything, by now there would have an implosion. Haven't managed to rescue ourselves from the throes of our oppressors. The need now is to make sure that these ones ensure that they are actually an alternative. And if they are not alternative, we take it up from there and empower the people to assume responsibilities.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We have been chatting with three comrades. Igo Akerega is the president of the Civil Liberties Organization. Comrade Biodun Shonwume is a social commentator. And Comrade Malaki Ugumadu is the president of the Center for Democracy.
Committee for Defense of
Human Rights. Thank you very much for coming. We'll be back with yet another interesting conversation. Make sure that you're part of it.